Greetings, true believers, and welcome to another uncanny episode of History of the Marvel Universe. Like many of our tales, this story begins in New York City, where the white-haired mutant Ororo Monroe was born. Her father was an American photojournalist from Harlem named David Monroe, and her mother was an African princess from Kenya named Ndare. Ndare could not abide the racism and bigotry she observed in the United States and wanted her husband to accept a job offer he received from Cairo. David was initially reluctant, but for the sake of their daughter he relented and the couple moved to Egypt. The family spent the next several years living in Cairo while Ndare regaled Ororo with tales of her homeland. However, it seems war is a constant of humanity, and one day a battle between rival nations broke out in the skies above the Monroes' home. David attempted to rush his family off to safety, but he was too late. A damaged plane crashed into the family's home, burying everyone inside. Ororo survived the building's collapse, but being buried alive left her with an intense claustrophobia. Her parents, unfortunately, perished in the rubble, leaving the young girl orphaned. Ororo escaped the ruined building and survived the next several weeks as a beggar on the streets of Cairo. This was until she was discovered by a group of street urchins who brought her to their master, a man named Ahmed El-Jabbar. El-Jabbar took the young orphan in and tutored her in the ways of the thief. At a young age, Ororo honed these talents and mastered the ability to pick locks. During this time, one of the people Ororo attempted to steal from was an American tourist named Charles Xavier. However, Xavier, being a powerful telepathic mutant, used his power to stop the young girl in her tracks. Upon retrieving his wallet, the American mutant recognized that Ororo also had a latent mutant X gene that would soon manifest. However, before Xavier could probe further, he was psionically attacked by another telepath, and Ororo slipped away. As a side note, Xavier's attacker was a man named Amal Farouk, otherwise known as the Shadow King. The two telepathic opponents fought a mental battle on the psychic plane, with Xavier emerging as the victor. Ororo's mutant powers would later manifest after she and her cohorts were hired to steal an artifact from an Egyptian tomb. While here, she also discovered a stone mural which seemed to predict her own future. However, the man who hired the thieves turned out to be a servant of the ancient villain Apocalypse, who sought to resurrect his master. After obtaining the jewel he was after, he fired into the tomb, burying Ororo and the other children in rubble. With her claustrophobia causing a panic, Ororo used her mutant ability to channel wind and electricity to free herself, although she wasn't sure exactly what happened at the time. Then, Ahmed El-Jabbar and his thieves fought back against the treacherous attacker and prevented the resurrection of Apocalypse for another day. Sometime after this experience, Ororo felt that her destiny lay elsewhere, and with her master's blessing, she left Egypt and began traveling south. It was during this pilgrimage that she began mastering her powers, allowing her to manipulate the weather, her command over wind even allowing her to fly. It was also during this time that Ororo first met a young Wakandan prince named T'Challa, who was on a journey of his own. In their time together, the two grew close and entered into a passionate relationship, although they would part ways once more to return to their individual journeys. After that, Ororo continued south until she finally reached her mother's homeland in Kenya. Here, the young girl was taken in by a priestess named Inet, who sheltered and took care of Ororo until she reached adulthood. During her time here, the local tribes began to worship Ororo as a goddess because of her power. It was also during this time that Ororo first met the original X-Men, while battling another weather manipulator called Deluge. The X-Men told their mentor, Professor Xavier, about the woman they encountered, and several months later, when the X-Men were captured by the living island known as Krakoa, Ororo was one of several mutants recruited to form a new team. Ororo Munroe was given the code name Storm, and joined the X-Men alongside other new members including Colossus, Nightcrawler, and Wolverine. In the years that followed, Storm's power and intelligence have made her not only a valuable member of the mutant team, but also one of their most respected leaders. And that, my friends, is the origin of Storm. Thank you so much for watching this video, and if you enjoyed it, please leave a like, leave a comment, and share it on your favorite social media. Special thanks to the Patreon supporters who help make this possible, and as always, the issues referenced in this video are listed in the description below if you would like to read them for yourself, as well as links to other places you can find me. So until next time, true believers, Excelsior!